In government, the Board of Health met on Tuesday for their monthly meeting. Superintendent David Thompson and School Committee Chair Teresa Stewart were in attendance to discuss the DESE letter to school committee members if the case count increases and the district is designated as red or high risk. Superintendent Sigal Reese updates the board on the new regulations.
We received a letter from DESE explaining that schools should wait 3 weeks in the red category before pivoting to fully remote. Like with most things with COVID, I think that depends. So the scenarios we talked about was, let's say, Norwood's case count increases, so we become a designated red community, a high-risk community. That, for instance, if we know that there's a cluster in a nursing home or some other facility, and that maybe there isn't that much community spread, maybe we do wait those 3 weeks to see, what happens to the data. But the reverse could also happen. So let's say we have an increase in cases and we know a lot of them are associated with school activity or school cases, then maybe we don't want to wait the 3 weeks. So I think it's really important to talk about the trends and what's actually going on the ground before making any decisions. So one idea that we've been floating around between both boards is if we do go into the red, that we have a joint meeting with the school committee and the Board of Health and have a discussion about what the cases look like. And we can do that at that first week that we go into red and sort of make a decision if we want to wait, if we want to see what the next week's data look like, or if there is, a lot of cases associated with the school, do we want to make plans to pivot earlier, again, to fully remote.
Impact Norwood's Program Director, Aubrey Seall, delivered her monthly report and announced Impact Norwood's new podcast. Sigal Reese talked about continuing to maintain COVID-19 safety rules for workplaces. A new body art shop is looking to open up a place in Norwood, and the board opened up discussions about updating the town regulations over the next few weeks. The board will continue discussions on this at their next meeting on Tuesday, November 10th. The Board of Selectmen met in the Police and Fire Community Room for a hybrid meeting Tuesday evening. The board hosted many virtual guests, including Mark Ryan and Jimmy Collins, to submit monthly reports from the DPW and Light Department. Public hearings included a show cause hearing for Olivardi's and a proposed plan for property improvements on Rosemary Street. Some approved agenda items were the election warrant for Tuesday, November 3rd, and a request from Veterans Agent Ted Mulvihill to hold a virtual Veterans Day event. Toward the end of the meeting, the board discussed the possibility of creating a community outdoor ice rink in the town common.
Well, my thought is it sounds nice to continue to add things to the town's activities and make available to the public. I am concerned about the expense. I think this could get up quite expensive, and I don't want to necessarily be using free cash and whatever. So you mentioned trying to get grants or donations or whatever. I think that would have to be, if not all, the lion's share of the costs personally. That's just my personal view, but the concept is great. I think the parking lot is a lot better idea than Central Street for technical reasons, and as well as you mentioned trying to have that chiller set up properly and everything.
In the closing remarks, Selectman Helen Donahue addressed the communities to stay informed on the important articles up for discussion at town meeting.
There are lots of articles about zoning. Lots of excellent work has gone into the preparation of these zoning articles. And they bring forth major changes in the town, especially on Route 1. And so in the local newspapers, there are ways that you can attend a hearing which will be held on October 19th about these zoning articles, some of them on October 19th. So when you go to the newspaper, even if you don't have a computer in your house, you can still use your telephone to access the public hearings. And at the public hearings, the proposed articles will be discussed and talked about and worked on.
The Board of Selectmen will reconvene again soon. Also Tuesday night, the Trails Advisory Committee met and began the meeting with a trail report for the multiple trails around town. Following the trails report, the committee discussed the Hennessy cleanup that took place on September 26th and an update on the Eagle Scout projects that are taking place at the trails around town. Upcoming events for the Trails Committee is a Progress Norwood Trail Walk on October 24th, Shattuck Park cleanup on October 31st, and a St. Street lot cleanup to take place in November. The next Trails Advisory Committee meeting will be on October 27th. Wednesday was a busy day in town government with 4 meetings taking place. In the afternoon, the Airport Commission began by paying tribute to former longtime Commissioner Les LeBlanc. Les served on the Norwood Airport Commission for 16 years and was also an aerial photographer for many years. The Commission also received an AIP update from Jeff Adler of Du Bois & King. The Airport Commission will meet again in November. Later that evening, the Community Preservation Committee began their meeting with a discussion on the town meeting proposed projects. The committee approved the proposed projects and discussed the format and motions that were to be brought to town meeting. To end the meeting, the committee reviewed the CPA financials, business, and updates. The committee is scheduled to meet again in November. In the third meeting of the night, the Board of Selectmen held a joint meeting with the Planning Board to discuss proposed overlay districts that will be voted on at the annual town meeting. Many areas, including Route 1, Norwood Hospital, and the Vanderbilt Avenue area. The night's final meeting was the Finance Commission, who spent a majority of their meeting discussing the school department's FY21 update with members of the school committee and the school administration. Following the school department budget discussion, the committee began by reviewing the special town meeting articles for this November's town meeting and the financial strategy for FY21. The meeting ended with a discussion on the long-term financial forecast. The next Finance Commission meeting will be on October 28th at 7:30. The Planning Board has been hard at work developing plans and presentations for the proposed amendment that is up for discussion at the special town meeting in November regarding the Route 1 corridor study and rezoning initiative. The Planning Board held a virtual information session with town meeting members to present proposed plans and changes to the zoning bylaw. This article will be discussed further at a special town meeting in November. For complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government channel or watch it on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org.